Hi, thanks for joining me today as we review Queen Studios' Thanos bust. Man, what an awesome job by Josh Brolin in portraying Thanos in both Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. You know that the character was very well portrayed whenever the guy finally meets his demise and you're like, yeah, take that, sucker.
That was a mistake.
Uh-oh. Wait, you don't even have any freaking arms.
Greg. Greg. What the heck is he doing? He is such a freaking pig.
Hey, if you enjoy what I do, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to receive notices next time I post a video. So one of the things that will be factored into the review today is the expense of the piece. If you pay a ton of money for it, it better be good. It better be dang good. So if you compare this to something like, say, the Kotobukiya Deadpool that I did, that's $300, you know, well, cut that a little bit of slack. It's an inexpensive piece comparatively. So there may be items in here that I might let slide on a lesser piece, but I'm going to be a little stricter today. So with that said, let's get straight into concept. So what we have with concept, they did the Endgame. Josh Brolin portrayed Thanos, and what an ambitious project to try to tackle this in full scale. And actually, I was, there's been some debate of is he full scale, but if you look at the size of my hand to his head, and then you look at these pictures of Manus, I believe he's actually properly scaled. If it is, it's minuscule, the amount. And I actually myself thought to start with that he was slightly underscaled from the movie. But if you look at that, when she's on his shoulders and the hand at the side, they're very comparable. So they take on, whenever I think of Thanos, I think of, subtle anger. He's very sinister, very imposing, very calculated, but he always has this calm about him, unless he's in the rage of battle, but he always has this very calm demeanor about it. So I like the fact that they went for, I think, there was some debate of should they have had him with closed mouth or a smirk or whatever, but I think they honestly wanted to show off the teeth there. And so I can't fault them for that. It's an expression like he's about to speak, he's about to say something. The concept of how they portrayed, him slightly looking down, gives a very imposing, threatening look to his face. He means business. Very cool. I've got really no criticisms of what they tried to execute with the facial expression and all that. Also, another great thing with concept is this base. Just outstanding that they didn't just go with a plain black, like some are on there and they paint them or whatever, but the fact they incorporated the look of the ship and all that in that, and we'll get to that in paint and sculpt and all the details later, but just excellent. Then also they threw in the concept of adding in the lights, so which basically just light up the underside, but still a very cool thing. I'm usually not a light up feature guy, in sculpts or what have you, but in this, I love it. I think it's a great little small detail. One thing I do severely dislike, to the borderline of hate, is this plate. Do not like them. Queen Studios, please give us an option in the future to replace that plate if you don't want it on there. Just a little piece that looks like this would have been so awesome, but I do not like these gaudy nameplates on there. They're plasticky, they look cheap, just, that is a huge ding. Concept is a 12, but because of the plate that I dislike, believe it or not, I'm going to give Concept a score of 9. So besides being so huge, he is almost 30 inches tall. He's like 28, 29 and a quarter, which is actually, on most sites you see, he's reported at 32 inches tall. That's not true. He's a little bit over 29. 27 wide, 20 deep. Ballpark, maybe a little bit more there. He is extremely heavy. I took Thanos himself off, stood on a scale, and then subtracted my weight. 45 pounds just for the top. The base comes in at 35, 36. So he's at or over 80 pounds total. So you better have some substantial shelving that you're going to put this dude on, or he's going to be on the floor, or literally put him on the floor. So, but yeah, he is massive. So one of the things he's going to get dinged for is, so I think this is a vertebra. These look like ribs to me, so we'll call them space ribs. So these space ribs, they, most of them magnetize in. The magnets are fairly strong, but it is maddening trying to figure out where they go. I should have looked at the box and should have pulled up pictures, but I was doing the unboxing, didn't want to stop and do all that. But just doing them by common sense, you have to look at the keys and try to figure out what it is. Now, they have numbers on them. This one is numbered, looks like 19. They're not very well done. I don't know how they did them. There are actually numbers up inside of these holes. They're very difficult to read. You have to stand on your head to look, and how they inscribed them in there, I have no clue. But there's actually numbers in there. They're wrong. This one's numbered 19 and the hole is numbered 11. So it's like, ugh.
You just go in every day and do it really half-assed.
So, very simple solution with this would be to paint dab them. Make this red, make that red. Make this one yellow, make that one yellow. And then bam, 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 you have the thing assembled in nothing. I mean, you took all the time to make this masterpiece, and then you skimp on, making the aggravation of this. Another thing is a lot of the magnets are not real strong. They're very, as you can see right here, they are very sloppy. They just barely stay in there. Now, you're not going to be moving this around, but it's like, come on, make those right. So this one right here, I don't know if you can see, this is really tight and snug up against here, and this one is not. It flares out. The bow, if you hold both of them side by side, the bow in this one is not right. So I'm gonna try to heat it up and flex it back into place to make it look a little bit better. But magnet is very floppy, sloppy, so got to get a ding there. It's just, statue is awesomely constructed, just like I said about in concept. Should be a 12, but the magnets and the way that they're keyed, the fact that they're not color coded, that's going to give construction a score of 9. You have all these cool details. It looks like a futuristic ship, the inside of Thanos's ship, and he's on his throne or chair within the ship. You have this again mechanical looking vertebra with the ribs coming off. It's just a very, very cool concept and very well executed. It looks awesome. You have these I don't know if they'd be cooling fans or thrusters, whatever they are, look great. Choice there. Just everything about it is excellent, except for the stupid nameplate. On to Thanos himself. You've got all these score marks in his armor. Just tells the story of his life and his battles and his conquest, and it just tells the story of everything about him, and that he's a warrior, and that he's on the front lines. He's not sitting in the ship somewhere demanding the troops. The sculpting of the face, I don't even have to say anything. I mean, it's Thanos. It's Josh Brolin's Thanos from the movie, sitting on my table in my collection room. I mean, what else can you say about that? Just fantastic. Even the details back here that you won't see in his armor, movie accurate and just amazing. So one small thing I would have done, but I'm not going to ding the score for this, is I think it would have been better to have enamel teeth in there. It will look more real, because the eyes are so lifelike. They look, I assume they're the prosthetic eyes like a human would get, you know, if they had lost an eye. You literally expect him to blink at any moment when you're looking at his eyes. So just a small thing, I would have gone with enamel teeth there. So sculpt, I mean, what can you say? Easiest score to give ever would be a 12 if I could, but score of 10. So next up we have paint, and the paint on the base is just so well done. Subtle purple and gray blend shading there is just so well done. Metallic look in the spaces in between, coppery color on the electrical conduit. One thing I really love is the way that they made these ports look like they've been scorched. If you ever seen, like, you solder copper, I'm a plumber again, it turns that bluish hue. It's very well done there. Adds color to it, but in a way that makes sense. And the heat, changing the color of those ports there, so well done. On his armor, just so many subtle colors going on there, various golds. There's like 3 or 4 shades just in this one little section right here, probably 5. Cool coppery color here. The paint is just, you know, denotes old battles raging, you know, that he's fought, and without, but it still keeps that, you know, sleek modern look to it at the same time. And just can't say enough about that. The leathery look here is very well textured. I didn't mention that sculpt, but very nice texturing there in the paint on it. There's even distressed in the sculpt here, but the painting on it is just excellent. Looks like leather. Painting on his face, again, what can you say? It's just phenomenal. So paint as an overall, what can you say? I mean, it's just the most exquisitely painted piece I have ever seen with my own 2 eyes. So amazing. Easiest 10 ever. So last up, we have presents. So what do you think you get for presents on this guy? I mean, everybody that's walked in has just been like, jaw on the floor. Wow. Oh my gosh, look at that. You know, they like immediately want to go, can I touch it? You know, I'm like, yeah, carefully. But, you know, to move the pieces and all, it's just a breathtaking piece. You know, whenever I started collecting, to think like one day something like this would be sitting in my collection, in my, you know, room in here, is just, you know, a museum type piece, you know, that you would see and you can own it. How cool is that? So one of the things that's difficult to judge versus statues is it's so enormous, you know, like this. But I really think that if this was in quarter scale, it would still be a 10 for the pop of it. It just looks so awesome. So obviously Presents gets a 10. So that brings us to collective score. It got 2 dings. The ugly nameplate I don't like. I don't know if they have a licensing issue that they have to do this and not include an option, you know, to cover that, but don't like it, and the space rips. Other than that, this thing should have a 100 score. It is just so impressive. But the collective score came in at 48. So I hope you enjoyed the review today of an incredible piece, one that I still have to pinch myself that is sitting before me. It was a long time waiting, but so worth it, so incredible. hit up Todd on Messenger the other day, and he said, I asked him, I said, in case people ask me, do you have any of these left? And he said, I might have a couple. So that was at the time of filming. So if you want one, you better move fast. And definitely, it's hard to say for the money that is worth it, but I would definitely do it again without hesitation. Fantastic piece. So a couple things. Please hit that like, subscription, and notification bell so you'll get notifications the next time that I release a video. And we will soon be doing a giveaway, and my nephew, and you'll find their link here, Optimum Engraving, did these cool hydro flasks for me. It's very popular. These things are awesome. They will have ice in them like 48 hours later if they're just sitting around the house or whatever. I don't know about if they're sitting in the heat, but all the time I dump them out 2 days later and they still got ice in them. But he does custom engraving, so I'm going to give away a couple of them whenever we hit 500 subs. Catch is, you got to be a sub. So whenever you hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, as soon as you're a sub, then you're registered into the vote. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to pull it off, but one of the prerequisites will be you have to be a sub. So when we hit 500, I may give away 2 of them, and then you can contact my nephew, and he'll put whatever custom engraving that you would like. It's got my HFR. I'll show a photo. I don't know if it doesn't show up real well into the lights here. It looks weird on my monitor, but anyways, so hit that sub button, and until next week, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll catch you later.